All right, you found the house. We're buying a house, Mom. We're buying a house, Dad. Or my son, my daughter, we're moving into a bigger house, guys. Right? We're ready to go. Offer signed. The escrow check's been delivered. Now it's time for the home inspection. So let's talk about the home inspection for a minute. The home inspector is getting, now of course, don't laugh. The home inspector gets paid to inspect the home, right? Duh, right? That's what they're there for. But here's what we want to find out. Here's what we want to know. The home inspector is absolutely going to find something wrong. That is his job. He's not going to take your $450 or whatever it is and say, gee, the home is perfect. Unless, of course, it is perfect. Or if it's a 2-bedroom condo that's got 3 outlets and no, nothing to inspect. So if you're doing a traditional single-family home, 3-4 beds, 1, 2, 3 baths, he's absolutely going to find something wrong. And there are many common things that he'll find wrong, which we can discuss at a later point. But you have to prepare yourself for the home inspector to find something. Now, home inspectors may be very knowledgeable about the homes themselves. They are not typically general contractors. They're not typical licensed roofers. They're not typical engineers. They're not typically plumbers. They're not typically electricians. They are home inspectors. So they use the words up to code, standard, shitty work, bad craftsmanship. They will do what they know how to do to give you something to chew on. So you have to be prepared when you're looking at your house, when you put the offer on the house, when you understand its pros and cons from the plain eye, that when you go in the basement, the home inspector is going to point out things that he thinks are wrong, he thinks should be adjusted, he thinks should be up to code, but that is his job. Now, unless he points out something you seriously missed, like knob and tube wiring, asbestos wrapping, things that are factual, those are the things you can base on. Things he says, well, it looks like there's mold in the roof, mold in the attic. Mold can't be proven unless you scrape it off, put it in a container, send it off, and get it tested to see if it's actually mold. So if he says, oh, there's discoloration in the attic, well, of course it is. It's 120 degrees up there all the time. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's mold. If he runs the dishwasher and water kicks out, well, the dishwasher's broken. Right? If he runs the heater and the heat comes out, he says, well, the heater's beyond its serviceable life. Well, it's still servicing, it's still putting out heat. Right? So you have to take what the home inspector says with a grain of salt. You obviously can trust him, right? You've hired him. You can take it what he says, but you also really have to understand they are not licensed plumbers. They are not licensed electricians. They are not licensed roofers. They are typically not general contractors. They are home inspectors. They are trained to look at the same 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces of the house, every single house, 3 times a day, 6 days a week for $450, and their job is to report the negative. So you have to take that negative with a grain of salt, figure out what you can deal with and what you can't, and then you have to be realistic about how you go back to the seller with it. All right? Home inspectors are good. All home inspections are good. Always have one. Never skip one. It's worth your $450 just to have a second set of eyes. But like I said, you have to be sure you know what you're looking at, have them explain it to you, and then have them, tell you what you should or could do about the potential problem, and figure out if that's really something that you want to have done, needs to be done, should negotiate about, or just, frankly, just not worry about it for the sake of the deal and worry about it down the line. All right, hope this helps. Evan at the Russell team. This is the Russell Realty Minute. Evan Russell, broker owner, ERA Russell Realty Group.